More law enforcement will be out patrolling as Saturday approaches. April 20th, 420, has become synonymous with recreational marijuana use. And law enforcement say that means there could be more impaired drivers on the road. In North Dakota, the number of drug recognition experts has increased by 16 to a total of 63 officers in 23 different agencies. Those officers are trained in recognizing if a driver is under the influence of drugs. Highway Patrol says a recent roadside drug testing pilot revealed the presence of marijuana in more than half of people suspected to be under the influence.